Hello, here's my reflection of day two. So, on day two, there's a shift that happens, I feel, from the teacher and from the students. So, in day two, I'm looking for more independence from my students with a skill or a strategy. And it's a little bit different than day one because in day one, we're taking a direct approach to working through a skill. So, they're getting direct instruction from me about how we can use this strategy or skill to help us with a specific problem. And day two, that's when we give students a chance to apply this strategy or skill to a problem. So in most cases, I feel that my role in day two is to do more listening than talking. And you'll notice that most of the talking I do is to reinforce what students are already doing, or to prompt them to think about the problem through questioning. It's also important for students to precisely talk me through their thinking. So sometimes students are exactly correct, but aren't able to justify their thinking clearly. In those instances, I ask for more clarification from them so that in real world situations, they can communicate effectively to other mathematicians. You also probably saw in the videos that I'm taking notes in my binder, and this was to capture what I'm seeing and hearing in the conversations that I have. We all know that by the end of the day, everything turns to a blur. So that's why having these notes help me see patterns and work towards planning future instruction with each small group. As I was working with this particular group, I was noticing that I had to prompt these students regularly as I talked with them. I definitely expected this from them, but as I was prompting, I noticed a few students were using too many base 10 blocks in their array, and it was throwing them off. So through questioning, I was able to empower them to make some changes in their strategy. Other students in this group seemed ready to rumble. They were using the strategy quickly and organizing their thinking logically. So that's why at the beginning of the video you heard me say, if you feel like you finish early, try to work with this problem in another strategy to check your answer so that they can have an opportunity, if they're done with the strategy, to invent new strategies in order to solve a problem and check their answer from that original strategy that we worked through together on day one. After the dust settled up for the day, I was able to think back to the lesson, look back at my notes for each individual student, and prepare for my next instructional move. And as I looked over my notes for this group, I decided I would use this strategy as a warm up in the next meeting to check in as an informal assessment. And then I would kind of take one of two routes with this group. So as I was planning, I was thinking, okay, if I feel like they have a good understanding during the check-in, we can move on to a new indicator within the continuum in computation. And I also thought we could take a route of, okay, I still feel like I'm prompting a lot. I still feel uncomfortable moving on from this. So I might take another day for us to work through it and come to a better understanding of the strategy and how to use it. So not always is it a definite day one you teach it and we do it, day two they do it and they magically get it. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer and we have to check in and make that decision as a teacher, use our professional judgment to decide, okay, day two, we're still not exactly where I feel comfortable that we can move on to a new indicator. So let me check in on it for warm up. And if we're doing a great job with it, and I feel as a group we're ready to move on, we move on to something else. If I check in and I'm seeing that same type of pattern where I'm questioning a lot, we're prompting a lot to get through the problem, then I'm probably going to stay there for another day and then maybe move on day four to a new, our fourth meeting to a new type of indicator in the continuum. So as I think about the reason for small groups, I think of it as such an important opportunity for us to know our students as mathematical thinkers. We can know so much more about them as mathematicians through this small group experience. And as we pull that NWA data to help us plan, we truly are working with students at the cutting edge of their mathematical understanding. So it's really taking them where they are as a student in math and moving them forward every single day. And from this time, I see a true progression of understanding within concepts that we teach and as well as representations, taking it from that concrete to a pictorial to an abstract understanding. It's not all about abstract understanding. We have to know deeper connections within mathematics, and this gives us the opportunity to really connect with individual learners where they are. And it also gives me the chance to informally assess students several times a week. And it makes me a better teacher because I can reflect on how I can push individual students and further future meetings. And through this informal assessment, those conversations that we have are so much more meaningful and intentional and authentic because it shows so much more of their mathematical understanding than an exit slip ever will or a test ever will. So that's why this guided math time is so important to me.